here's another League of Legends post-game commentary coming from this time with Viktor mid. So before we get started, there's well, I don't remember. Oh yeah, here I go. So I'll explain in a second. But first, I'm rearranging these for our matchups. We have Jax top against Tryndamere, Annie partnered with Severe bot against Brandon Quirky. I'm Viktor mid against Azir, and we have Nidalee in the jungle against Xin Zhao. So, a couple things to talk about. The Tryndamere is Diamond 3. I think the Jax is Silver. You can kind of imagine how that lane's going to go, and from there it's going to be on us to try to stop Tryndamere. You can see from the game's length that it's pretty brief, and I'm not sure if you noticed the names on the well, actually you can't see the names anymore on the screen, but the Xin Zhao and the Corki have the same tag. I don't know if it's a clan tag, a team tag, or what exactly, but they are pre-made, and Azir is part of their group as well, so there's those three working in collusion with one another. And it's just one of the things I have to keep in mind. Had I known in advance, it would have helped a little bit, but I still make do. Anyway, let's go over how Viktor works before I continue. Passive is Glorious Evolution. It gives you this Hex Core. The Hex Core gives you ability power as you level up, and you can spend 1,000 gold to upgrade it. Every time you upgrade it, it gives you more ability power and mana per level, I believe. The mana might be fixed, but the ability power per level goes up. And it allows you to upgrade one of your moves so that it does something additionally. Q is, I don't remember the name of the move, but you damage an enemy, you get a shield in return for it, and it will in turn empower your next auto attack to deal bonus damage, scaling off AP. When upgraded, the move will give you a surge of movement speed. Unlike the previous Viktor game I uploaded, this time I will actually upgrade that move, since I think in the last one I just upgraded the E and went full AP. Main reason why you want the Q upgrade is that Viktor is fairly immobile, and that surge of movement speed is actually very significant, especially for this game since I planned on going for Ludens and the Lichbane, just to maximize my movement speed because the Shin and the Tryndamere will run me down. Your W is Gravity Field. It has, you target an area on the ground, you'll drop your little device there, it unravels and will slow the enemies inside. It applies a tick of slow every second, like right here you can see I showed Azir who's boss. I'll talk about that more in a second. The gravity field will apply stacking slow to the enemy, and after a certain amount of stacks are applied, something like 3 or 4, the enemy will be stunned in place. When upgraded, the gravity core will actually pull anyone that got stunned inside of it to the middle. It's as lackluster as it sounds, yes. Your E is Death Ray. It's one of the 2 Vector abilities in the game, the other one being Rumble's Equalizer, which is why I turned Smartcast off. You choose the line that it shoots down, and it will just do a nice chunk of damage to everything there. This is Viktor's Wave Clear move. When you upgrade it, it gives it the Aftershock attribute, which means there will be an explosion down that line, damaging everything once again. And the whole point of the Aftershock is that it enhances your wave clear and makes it that much easier to push. It's very important in this lane since Azir is all about poke. I just need to maximize my wave clear to force him under tower, and then he's a little bit handicapped. And your ult is Chaos Storm. This can only be upgraded by maxing the Hex Core to Mark III, and therefore upgrading all of your other abilities. The Chaos Storm does damage to everyone who stands inside of it over time, and when upgraded, it just moves faster. You can actually move it with the R key. You might be able to do it like you do Annie's Tibbers. I never actually tried it. I just used the R key to reposition it. And the damage on it isn't exactly the highest, but just like all of your other dots, it adds up if the enemy will actually sit in it. I will be executing people with it, so you'll get to see how dangerous it can be. Anyway, as for the matchup at hand, I can't see the exact numbers there, but I believe Azir is running no magic resist, and he's going to be rushing the Nashor's Tooth. The whole point of the Nashor's Tooth, I think, is because he is playing with a pre-made jungler, so he will be getting the blue buff. Unlike me, where the only way I have to get it is off his dead body, which, don't get me wrong, I'm more than happy to do. As for right here, I have a little bit of trouble last hitting under the tower for now. Like, the death ray timer was just a little bit off. I could have actually gotten all 3 of those ranged camps. Going back right now just so I can get the... Yeah, I have enough for the whole chalice. The point of the chalice is that it will give me a little bit of MR to withstand his poke, and most importantly all mana regen, so that I can just out-trade him. If you look, he's burning all of his mana to just poke, harass, however you should think of it. As for right here, Nidalee went kind of ham, but she did get the barrier out of him. Sadly, she can't finish the job. And she's going to give up first blood right here, sadly, since she went so ham on Azir. If you look at the mini-map, Xin Zhao's just going to jump on her and kill her. So, going back to Azir, he's running no MR, he's rushing the Nashor's Tooth for offensive power. The way Azir has changed is that he no longer gets... Like right here, I was wondering, can I kill him? Where did he go? Stuff like that. No dice. Azir has been changed so that he no longer gets the attack speed from CDR, and as a result, our Azir friend here is going to be building Nashor's first. It's pretty lackluster because Azir's attack speed is really bad in the first place because he's supposed to be getting steroids, either from CDR or now from ranking up his W. And as a result, that causes the upgrade for the Nashor's Tooth, the percent attack speed boost, to be really minimal. I don't know if the Nashor's thing is going to become the norm, but it's just something I haven't seen before. And I should mention I have looked into this guy in the past. He's played Azir, and he's actually won with this whole Nashor's Tooth rush, so I don't know if there's anything to it. I just know I'm going to punish him for no MR. As for right here, I just have to struggle to try to clear the phase. Right there, he used his ult. He went all in as soon as he could, and you can see he does a decent chunk of damage. It's just, like, right now he doesn't have much else left. I'm taking the long way around because I didn't know if he was waiting around the river brush to just poke me some more. He is maxing the Q first. Since the Azir changes, I don't know what's the norm anymore. I don't know if that's actually advised or not. The important thing is we go ahead and get the dragon. And apparently Jax was there. I didn't actually notice that when I was playing the game. And right here I have enough gold to go back. I can get an Amped Home Boots, a potion. Maybe not a potion, I hope. Let's see, 435. Yeah, I can. So the main reason why I want the boots is because I had to, well, mobility is very important. I have to just reposition around his ult, that's the thing. I can use flash once, but being able to dodge his Q and get away from his soldiers will help immensely. And as for the Amp Tome, that's going to enhance my wave clear, make it better for me to trade with him. You can see he has the blue buff, he has an Fiendish Codex for even more CDR, so he's sitting on 20% right now due to those two. And the blue buff is going to give him enough mana to poke and harass. As for right here, I'm going to flash and kill him. Chaos Storm! And the main reason why I want that was for the blue buff. And you may say it's really greedy, taking it from Nidalee, etc., but I'm going to make up for that in 1 second. So notice I don't have an ult anymore, but I do have Ignite. So wait for it. Wait for it. And here we go. Hey look, it's Xin Zhao. He has a red buff. So I drop the gravity field at my feet to stun him. I go ahead and death ray him, Q him, I ignite him, got him to take the tower shot, Q him again, and now I have double buffs. Now right here I don't want to stick around because I have next to no health, and Azir is most likely furious that I killed him and his buddy. Drop the gravity field here just to slow down minion advance. There was only one, I didn't see how many exactly. Better safe than sorry. In the meantime, I'm going to go ahead and upgrade the Hex Core for the first time to give me the enhanced wave clear on my E. In turn, it's also going to help me with the Azir harass because, if you notice, he's not very good at dodging. Now, the bad part here is Azir is still amazing at killing towers. I think he's going to kill it here since he's using his W. Yeah, that thing's gone. Now, he is able to use his passive here to revive the turret, which, hey look, he just did. Hey look, he just ulted me. If you look at my ult timer, there's the gravity field, here's the death ray, here's the chaos storm, and there once was an Emperor of Shuri.
Structure and bloody.
As for right now, I just have to kill the tower. It's worth something like 50 gold. I'm not entirely sure, but we're about to find out.
Turret destroyed.
So that's really bad news for Azir. I mean, he did get some gold from the tower last hitting for him, but that's still 100 gold for me, and then I also got the kill gold off of him and his friend. And basically there are cracks appearing in the armor, and it's just going to get rougher and rougher for him from here. And ultimately, I'm aware of Tryndamere being Diamond 3, so I'm just trying to prepare to deal with him. So right here we have both Shin and Azir. I go ahead and use the gravity field to buy some time. Nidalee's showed up, and I was kind of hoping they'd go a little bit deeper. They didn't, but we're still going to kill Azir. Aftershock. This is why he should have built some sort of MR in this matchup, because with my runes and masteries, I have something like 15 or so penetration, and once I get the Sorcerer's Shoes, I'll be hitting him for essentially true damage, which is just going to make short work out of him. I mean, he does have the shield on his E, but that's only for 1 if he hits me. 2, it's going to be small because he's not maxing that. And for the third part, it's a fairly temporary shield, so I can just like reposition and it will expire on its own. Then I can just turn around and blast him. Anyway, I finished the Grail here for more mana regen, more CDR. I think you also get like 10 more AP for finishing it. And all of this is just bigger Recipe of Disaster for Azir. So now he has finished his Stinger, he has the additional 10% CDR, more attack speed for his soldiers, but he can't win a trade, a duel with me, anything. As for right here, they are going to kill Jax. I wanted to try to save him, but well, there wasn't really anything I could do for him.
Enemy rampage.
Even if I had the tier 2 boots, I wasn't really in range to drop the gravity field anywhere. And like Tryndamere, I don't know if he has Ninja Tabby or Merc Treads, but he's pretty quick. There was just next to nothing I could do to save him, sadly. So that is an assist for Azir. He goes ahead and does his little ult thing, I go ahead and do my little Chaos Storm thing, and I'm the one that's standing. Sadly, I was more focused on how are we going to deal with Tryndamere here than to taunt Azir with something along the lines of, "You call that an ult, son?" And, well, I'm going to have to start diverting my attention to the top lane from here. It's just a rough game for Azir, to be blunt. And I was planning to save up for boots. In retrospect, with what I know now, I could have actually picked up an Amp Tome there on that back, eventually turning that into an Aether Wisp for my Ludens, but I think I actually start to rush Zhonya, since they eventually will get to the point where they commit everything into killing me. And if you're wondering, that does backfire on them, as you probably would expect. So I dropped the second most amount of wards on, I don't know if it was just my team or in the entire game, because the Shin and Azir are all about all in on me. They both just dive in head first, and they need to kill me before I can vaporize them. That's pretty much their whole thing. It's the same's going to apply to Tryndamere when the time comes. And the other important thing about Tryndamere is that I'm packing Ignite, which helps deal with him, since I can ignite him when he's ulting, which will potentially kill him. Anyway, Corki goes down. This gives us the green light for Dragon. We already got the enhanced AP and AD ratios from this, and the nice thing about getting the second one is that it's going to enhance our tower damage. That will allow us to basically just stall Tryndamere while someone else pushes. Since we have Azir and we have Severe and myself, we actually do have a pretty strong siege and pushing potential. We can just decimate the towers while Nidalee and Jax keep Tryndamere at bay. And I don't really know what Azir was thinking there. I guess, yes, you get a kill, but you're just going to die. Right here, I was wondering, should I make a play on Shin or no? And he answers that question for me. So you can see that his upfront burst is not something I can underestimate, and he rushed a Hex Drinker because of how much I've been stomping him and his friend. The Hex Drinker is pretty much why I walked away. I need the Sorcerer's Shoes to pierce that, and I will go ahead and upgrade my Hex Core to the next level so I get the upgraded Q. I think it's called Power Conversion now that I think about it. So now I get the movement speed, which will allow me to kite somewhat. It's not going to help too much against Shin, since his E is on a relatively short cooldown, and then the Q actually lowers that cooldown further. It's just... my next item I wanted to be the Luden's Echo, just to enhance my wave clear even more. That way I can just push down the mid, kill Shin and Azir, and just offset the pressure Tryndamere is generating. So he goes ahead and dies there. And my whole plan is going to get derailed because I'm going to need the Zonia's Hourglass to deal with Shin, which is going to in turn delay my wave clear and ultimately my poke. But for the defense it gives, it's not a bad item. That Hex Drinker is going to save Shin's life in every encounter from here on out. Anyway, Azir is up there. He goes a little deep, and once he realizes I'm coming in this way, Jax is porting in, he decides to suicide to the tower, giving it to Nidalee. As for right here, Nidalee needs to heal, so I go ahead and help myself to the chicken camp. It's basically gold EXP. And I'm looking at the bot lane, because if I can get Severe moving, that's just 2 lanes we have winning. It just makes it that much easier to ultimately win the game. But once Shin shows up here, I want to deny him the CS and get this into the tower so Azir misses it as well. And like I said earlier, if I can keep up the vision, I don't have to worry about the all-ins from Shin and Tryndamere. As for right here, I wanted to kill Brand. No luck. So I have to settle for killing the tower instead. Once I get the Lich Bane like I planned, I'd actually have even more turret killing power. I'd have the second dragon buff for the enhanced percentage, the Spellblade effect, and just as I stack more and more AP, I just become something that cannot be ignored. Like I was saying, my plan here is just, if we can't beat Tryndamere in a straight-up fight, we can still outsplit push him. Jax is enough of a wall to slow him down. Speaking of which, Death Ray, Power Conversion, so Jax just needs to serve as enough of a wall for us to push the other lanes. It's not really a problem for me to go 1v2 because, with the exception of my Q, everything else about me is AoE. And Shin, since he's all about diving in, same for Azir, it's actually not too hard to land skill shots on them. As for right here, I'm going to go all in on Corki, burning literally everything, Flash, Ignite, Death, Chaos Storm. So he flashed, I flashed, I wanted to get the Q for the movement speed. There's the Death Ray, the Chaos Storm.
making an example.
I thought I ignited him too, but
Chum the sea.
I guess I held back a little bit. Now, with the remaining 6 minutes, there is one thing I wanted to ask you guys. For those of you that follow the channel, do you actually prefer me doing any sort of commentary at all, and is this what you actually prefer? The thing is, when I'm actually not doing the commentary, I'm focused a bit more on the game, and you can see how much it's paying off. So the big question is, do you want me to continue providing the commentary? Does that mean something to you, or just ditch the commentary and go for bloodier games? Worst come to worst, I could try to mix and match, do some way, some a different way, and so on. It's just, for those of you that actually follow the channel and care, I'm a little curious as to what you think. You can see that Shin isn't giving Azir the blue buff anymore, and poking him is a little futile because he does have the heal on his W. So if I want to kill him, I go all in. It's just I have to take him down all at once. Sadly, I don't have the Morellos to inflict Grievous Wound. I do have Ignite though. And right there you can see how much damage Bran took with just that one combo. That poor fool. As for right here, Azir is not going to be able to deny us CS. I can just, with both Ricochet and Death Ray, we have no trouble annihilating the wave. We're getting everything. It's just, I may not get the gold, but Severe will, and that's still good in my book. So Corky went ahead and took the bottom outer. I'm rushing towards the fight up here. And this is going to be my first death when they go all in on me. And he engages on Tryndamere. Tryndamere tries to speed off. I use the gravity field to slow him. There's the Ignite. And if I had the Zhonya's Hourglass, I could have just dropped Chaos Storm with Stasis, and he'd have to make a choice, get out or die. Still, I get the assist off of him, and that works in my book. Another thing that I kind of forgot to mention is that the shield on your Q scales off of AP, so as I build more and more AP, it's actually going to be harder and harder for him to actually get through that shield. And I'm seeing on 20, almost, well, I'm getting close to 30%. I'll be getting 20 from the Grail, 10 from Runes and Masteries. That Q actually has a fairly short cooldown. As for right here, I'm speeding down here on the hopes of catching Azir yet again. He isn't really worth too much, but still more gold, more EXP. As far as I know, the EXP you get from killing him doesn't actually go down as he starts feeding. And one nice thing about his attack speed build, I guess, is that he can kill wards fairly quickly, but he's not that scary in a duel against me. Even if he does initiate with his Sand Soldiers, I can pop my Q for a shield to block some of the damage, and that will give me the movement speed to reposition and then just blast him. So right here, I drop the Chaos Storm on him. I go ahead and just start blasting Corky. I waited a little too long to move the Chaos Storm around, and for some reason my Q was a little delayed there. It probably would not have saved my life, but I still could have did more damage to Shin before I went down. So right here you can see how much of a menace this Tryndamere is, and he's going to be giving up another death here.
Your ally has been slain. Teach him respect.
So, final 2 minutes of the game. Sadly, you don't get to see either the Ludens nor the Lichbane, but here's where I realize, okay, I gotta get the Hourglass second. Death Cap would probably be my final item since I need the movement speed items first. And it'd be definitely interesting to see how Shin reacts to a high movement speed Viktor.
With utmost efficiency.
Of course, if they start stacking MR, I'd probably have to ditch one of my items for the Void Staff.
Function overformed.
But right here is the final battle, I think. It's not really much of a battle, sadly, before the enemy just throws in the towel. So right there, Azir has been caught out.
Cut out their eyes!
Down he goes. And right here I'm trying to figure out where's the rest of their team. We can see Brand.
The first of many.
I thought we killed Trinamir one more time, but maybe not. So that Azir catch was basically the final straw. They are going to go ahead and start pressuring the top. I'm moving there myself. Okay, I wanted to force Brand out of here. Right now my goal is just shove that into the tower, but then I see Severe is taking blue buff while Corki takes tower because...
Unstoppable!
Yeah, and that's the end. So Corki going down was the straw that broke the back. So the three pre-made friends did not do so hot together, and Tryndamere alone can't quite carry this since the other lanes just kind of got obliterated. There's the surrender vote, and I was moving in to try to blow them away, but no dice. So Viktor mid.